everybody. Sorry I didn't post yesterday. We got in a little late, and then as y'all can probably hear, I'm a little under the weather, and that has been an illness that we've all been passing around to each other. But all in all, had a pretty good week. Wednesday, we went back to the pediatrician for the third day in a row, and they had done a viral panel on Tuesday, which on Wednesday came back positive for human metapneumovirus, which is basically a weaker version of RSV. And the good news is that John David tolerated it pretty well. He's just now kind of getting through it and is getting back to his old normal self. Really, Saturday and today have been like him getting back to his old self of just playful, being really energetic and like happy all the time. Up until that point, it definitely was not his normal baseline, which, as I can attest, and I think Mama Kay can too, and Hunter and everybody else who has had this, it's not fun. And so it makes complete sense why he was not happy. But Wednesday, we got that back. The good news is also in all of that is that he had been diagnosed with an ear infection on Monday and was given amoxicillin, which is the treatment for that, just so that way it doesn't develop into pneumonia. And so he had already kind of started the treatment 2 days prior, so it all worked out. And then Hunter that evening when we got back went to go see Cousin Will play in the school play, which was Frozen Junior with Mimi. And so he had fun there. And then Thursday, we both went to work, got done, or actually I went to work. He was supposed to have speech and PT that day, but speech ended up canceling. And then we went to PT on the way out of town, going to get ready for the long day of appointments at Duke on Friday. And on the way out of town, PT went fine, by the way. It was a little bit lesser. He didn't push him quite as hard because he could tell that he was not feeling well, which, that again, having this definitely makes sense why he was not feeling well. And so was more of like a stretch session and just kind of doing some things that were on the lighter end of his physical therapy. And when we left, he had started coughing like pretty consistently, and then when we got in the car, would not stop coughing. Like kept coughing. And so there's a Trader Joe's right there on Oleander, if y'all know Wilmington at all. Pulled off there, and Mallory was trying to find like the little snot sucker, and we could not find it anywhere, so then she ran to go get one from one of the stores. And in that time, only thing I could think of was that there was a doctor at Duke who was talking about how like coughing would put pressure on his RV, his right ventricle, because it's connected to his lungs, and how that could like be really detrimental for him because he might not have the reserves, or he might like go into a rest or anything like that. That's all I can think about. And somebody told me at one point, I can't remember if it was when we had Hunter and we were doing snot sucking, or if it was John David, I really don't remember. But I remember somebody saying like old school, they would suck him out with their mouth, which is really disgusting. However, given the circumstances, I felt like I needed to do it, so I did it. I don't advise it. We do have the mechanical snot sucker now. I say mechanical. It's like literally just a tube where you suck on one end and the tube's on the other end. But that is much preferred to what I had to do in that moment. I would really prefer not to have to do that again. We have 2 of those now, so one's going to stay in the car, one's going to stay in the house, and we should not have to go down that road anymore. But for all of you old heads who have like done that with your kids, I got a lot of respect for you, because that is not something that I really would want to do again. And then Friday we went to Duke and had his cardiology and his neurology appointments, and his cardiologist said that he was actually pretty impressed that he had rhinovirus and the human metapneumovirus at the same time and was not hospitalized. So that is kudos to John David and to God for keeping him out of the hospital on this one, because the cardiologist was fully expecting him to have to come back in for all of that. And then again, on top of all of that, having an ear infection. So it wasn't like it was just those 2 things. He had those two things plus an ear infection. And so the fact that he was able to tolerate all of that, you know, for a lot of these heart kiddos, one illness is a big deal. I mean, he basically had 3 going on at the same time. So he powered through it. And so we are really, really proud of him for doing that. Neurology kind of said what we already knew, which is that his left leg is decreased function. So there is definitely something neurological there with it. It's not quite as reflexive, like his reflexes are decreased in his left knee. and he definitely uses it less than his right. The good news is that he still has full range of motion in it, and that he still seems to be able to use it. It just is not necessarily, he uses the right way more. And if y'all watch the videos, I'm sure y'all probably seen some of this where he like kicks that right leg a whole lot more. And so hopefully with time that will kind of, fade away, or he'll be able to compensate to a point where it's not very noticeable. But right now, that is the only thing that we are able to noticeably tell as far as the effects from the 2 strokes that he's had. And if that's the worst that we've got, then we are going to consider ourselves very blessed and lucky, because strokes can be way more damaging than what we are currently seeing with him. Now, we also have to monitor with time, because the neurologist also said this, is that, right now, the only things that we can really measure are kind of his gross motor skills and his fine motor skills with like OT. And right now, the only thing that, again, we're seeing is his left leg. His arms and his hands seem to be pretty symmetrical, so it doesn't seem like there's any damage there. And so the other parts will be like his language and his those types of things as he gets older, but he's not quite there yet, so we just kind of have to monitor those as he gets older. And then this kind of full on hit me this weekend. So Saturday and Sunday we really didn't do much of anything.
Alarming.
And he is alarming now, so let me go figure out what's going on with him. Sorry about that. He gets in a really deep REM sleep, and then his heart rate is dipping, and we have to ask the cardiologist about this, of like what is considered safe. And so this has been happening for a while, and it's normal. Like when we all hit REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement, where you get into like really deep sleep. And when you do that, your heart rate lowers, your breathing rate lowers. It's kind of like your really restful period of sleep. And so it's been happening with him. And so we're trying to figure out like, what is a safe number and what is a scary number, and what do we need to notify them with? And right now he's dropping into the 70s. And so for us, that wouldn't be a problem. For him, may or may not be, because kids, specifically infants, have much higher heart rates. And so because of that, it's just kind of one of those things where we kind of have to monitor right now and figure out what is safe and what's not. But anyways, Saturday, this thing had wiped me pretty much completely out. We were supposed to go see some friends, and I ended up telling them like, I don't want to spread this. And so I actually went back and laid back down and went to bed. Mallory, doing what Mallory does, like scrolled stuff, and apparently found that somebody had canceled an eye doctor's appointment, and we'd been planning on trying to take one and go here soon before the end of the year. And we ended up taking Hunter with us and got in on that evening. And he got really excited and wants to go see the eye doctor. And I told him, like, once you start having glasses and contacts, buddy, you can't get rid of them. You just got them forever. And so he had fun while we were there, and he actually did really well. I was not expecting him to do quite as well as he did. He actually sat in on my appointment and just sat there and watched and was pretty chill. And then Mallory drove back home. I was, again, wiped, so I slept pretty much the whole way back home. And then that's one of the reasons why I didn't make the video last night, because again, y'all can probably hear it, I'm still not over this, but I do definitely feel better. It's still, it is what it is. And then today was still pretty wiped this morning, and then, so we didn't go to church. Hunter did, he went with me and Papa. And then this evening was feeling better, and so we ended up going to Hunter's recital at church. And so he was supposed to play the bells and sing, and he sat down on the first pew and did that instead of getting up with the rest of the group. But John David went with us, and that was really fun. And then after all of that, Santa came and visited, and they got to see Santa. So all in all, it was a pretty good day. That's pretty much been our week, though. I'll put all the pictures and everything in there. I hope y'all enjoy them. If y'all would pray for these two things: one, that John David will continue to do well and keep on progressing. We are kind of at the point now where it's just progress monitoring. So every time that we have an appointment, it's just trying to figure out when that next cath will be, which right now they're thinking January, which is what the cardiologist told us when we went the last. It's Friday. So they're thinking sometime in January will be that cath, whether it be diagnostic or intervention is going to be depending on what they find in the cath. But if you would just pray that he'll continue progressing well up to that point. Two, if you would pray for all those who lost loved ones, especially those who lost children. And then 3, if you'll pray for all of the kids and families who are battling congenital heart defects, because this is a rough road. Also, one more thing to celebrate, John David has been gaining weight. Even through being sick with all those things, ear infection, rhinovirus, and human metapneumovirus, he has still managed to gain weight. Like in the week between the 2 cardiology appointments, Friday to Friday, he gained 180 grams. So 0.18 kilograms, which is a decent amount. I want to say it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 3.5 ounces. But that's pretty good for a week's worth, especially for him, because he has been doing slow gains of like 5 to 10 grams a day. And during that week, he decided he was just going to pack on the weight. So that is what we're looking for. And that's really what the surgeon wants, is for him to get bigger and stronger prior to whenever he has to do that next surgery. Also, 2 things I forgot to throw in here when I was putting clips in and remembered this. One, when Hunter's, since his birthday is so close to Christmas, a lot of times we will give him his presents a little early. And so he got his present early this year. It's the Next Playground video game. And it's, for those of you who grew up playing like Wii's, then you know that it's very similar to that, except for with the Wii, you had the remote. With this Next Playground thing, you just use your hands. And so it like picks up on your hands and you just use your hands, which Hunter finds fascinating, which I do too, honestly. It's kind of fun. And it has like some of the, the old school games like Fruit Ninja in there that he has really enjoyed, which we all enjoyed like playing on our phones growing up. So it's been a lot of fun playing that this weekend with him, especially given that the weather was really crappy outside. And then the other thing is that when we were there at church night and Santa came by, he kind of caught everybody off guard and just told Santa out of the blue that he loves his daddy, which, as you can imagine, made me very happy. It was actually really fun and cute and just really sweet, and we actually got it on camera, so like that was kind of made my whole day. So just felt like those should be kind of explained in here a little bit, instead of y'all looking at them and be like, why is he playing a game? But hope y'all have a good night. God bless. Y'all continue to choose hope daily. We'll see you later.
awesome. Now give me 5 on that, buddy. There you go. All right. I'm going to take this off real quick. Now you tear into that present right there, okay, Hunter? You come right around here, little. Let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. Look, everybody. So they get a picture with you. All right. Now you tear into that. Here, let's see right here. Let's see what's going to help you. Let's start right there. You start right there. Now rip it open. All right. Yeah, keep on. There you go. All right. Let's see what you got here, buddy. Get your ornament right here, okay, buddy? All right. Merry Christmas.
Say thank you, Hunter. Hunter, tell him thank you.
Cameron.
And John David, tell everybody bye-bye.